If someone this evening gave me the choice of an 8th state championship or having the experiences I had this season with these guys and these coaches and the thrill of watching them in action on Friday nights, I'd choose the latter, because what these guys gave me this season was better than a state championship. What I'm talking about, because I've been around a lot of state championships. This was better. I'm so thankful I was able to be a small part of something this special. And how can anyone ever forget this team? Most points ever scored in a season by a Brownwood team, 801. Wow. And by the way, had it not been for 2 or 3 officials' calls and a couple of injuries, we would have shattered the record and picked up our 8th state championship the following week. By the way, the second most points scored in a season at Brownwood was in 1977, 501. This team scored 300 more than the second highest scoring team in history. A total of 801 is 3rd in Texas history. The most points ever averaged in a season by a Brownwood team until this year, 40 points a game. This team averaged 40 points in the first half. We scored more points against Stephenville in 1 game than 4A champion Aledo scored in 2 games. We scored 88 points in a game. That is not the most in Brownwood history, and I know that'll thrill Bob Shipley. I know Bob, kind of hung his head and shook his head after that ball game and said, I wish that hadn't happened, but Bob, I want to make you feel better tonight. Largest margin of victory in a Brownwood game and the most points ever scored in a Brownwood game. 1915, Brownwood over Goldthwaite, 132 to nothing. I started to go down at halftime of the Iowa Park game and tell you that. And, see if you could set a new one. This team set a record for the most offensive yards in a season, most touchdown passes, most touchdown receptions, most interceptions, most sacks, and on and on and on. Were they fun to watch or what? 12 all-state players, 6 on the first team. That's twice as many as ever in Brownwood history. And by the way, they were the 7-on-7 state champions. I can honestly say I've never seen a team that was so much a team, and I've never been prouder to be associated with a group of young men. Coached beautifully in all phases of the game by what I believe is the best high school coaching staff in the entire state of Texas. And by the way, Bob Shipley's my coach of the year, and I don't know about you, but I want him to be our coach of the year every year for a long time to come. Let me also say publicly what I told Bob privately. No one who ever coached here in Brownwood or anywhere else for that matter could have gotten this team any farther than Bob Shipley did.